the Australian Gamer Show. I'm Yug.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sarge.
And today, on today's exciting episode, amazing, crazy, we're going to be talking about new Jimi Hendrix rock band songs.
Mario's compilation.
NBA Jam.
Some upcoming stuff at the Malabar.
The Medal of Honor ditches Taliban.
And more. Move.
No, it says
Move.
move.
Yeah, move.
Shit, sorry.
That was actually pretty...
That was not bad.
We had an argument about whether we could read my writing, and we agreed that we could, but apparently we almost could. We got up to move.
Well, it's the last thing.
No,
I
see it.
It does look like it says more.
It does look like
and more, because,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Where do we start with?
Well, welcome, Sarge.
Welcome, Sarge.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Sarge, in two ways. Welcome, Sarge, to the podcast. This is not your first podcast, but your first Australian Gamer podcast.
Well, no, this is actually my second appearance on the podcast.
Really?
When there was the Melbourne meetup in 2008, I believe, episode 120.
Oh my
Christ, wow.
I was on that. We had the barbecue, and I can't remember what I
That was that the one where I was roving around with the microphone at the barbecue?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. That was amazingly awkward at the time, because that was actually the first podcast I'd ever done on my own without Matt, because Matt wasn't in Melbourne.
You were kind of nervous because we were all hanging around the barbecue area, and you were kind of off in the distance, being really, uncertain about what was actually going to happen.
I just didn't know what to say. I mean, usually I'm able to talk, but then Matt actually is able to, stop
rein you
me.
in.
Yeah.
Pick it up when you start talking drivel. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the drivel just continued to, drivel.
Drive.
Yeah. What?
What drivel would logically drive? I don't know.
Anyway.
But welcome also, to continue that, welcome also to Australian Gamer. You are
Thank you very much.
one of the newest members of Australian Gamer.
Yes, it's been fun so far, and I'm getting excited about the upcoming game season.
It is a season of massive gaming. This has always been a big deal. What I find really fascinating about this upcoming sort of, I think is it the summer release? It's our summer.
I just call it Q4.
The big quarter four
the Christmas
release schedule.
period.
It's watching for what heavily anticipated games get dropped from the year. There's always a couple that they're like, fuck, we're not going to make it. And then they end up in, early 2011.
That's true. That is true.
Well, not always early 2011, but
yeah,
early the next year.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
They actually completely drop off the radar. Let's talk about game stuff.
Let's talk about
on the list.
Let's talk about Jimmy the H.
Bow, 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 bow.
Bunch of Jimi Hendrix DLC being added to Rock Band. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually been on Guitar Hero before, been released as DLC, but there was only ever 2 or 3 titles that were released as DLC.
Do you remember what they were?
I believe it was
Purple Haze. I'm pretty sure
there was Purple Haze live, and
that's right.
I think it was Angel was also another live track, because
Right.
there was because Jimmy was actually a playable character on Guitar Hero World Tour.
Right.
He was one of the unlockables, but for Rock Band, how many tracks are there?
Well, this is actually from the Are You Experienced album, and the songs that are actually listed. You got Purple Haze, Manic Depression, Hey Joe, live, Love or Confusion, May This Be Love, The Wind Cries Mary, Fire, live, Third Stone from the Sun, Fuck's Lady, Are You Experienced, Stone Free, and Highway Chile.
Child.
Did I say Chile?
You did say Chile.
Wow, hold on. I didn't read that right. I'm just not good at reading in general.
No.
It's not just your writing.
Yeah,
for
I
what's
understand.
Don't feel bad.
That's fucking typed, and you still couldn't do it.
I know.
So that's a fairly substantial
It is a good block
list.
of Jimmy.
It's a great block of Jimmy. The only thing that I don't like, and it's not about Jimmy, it's about all DLC on Rock Band and Guitar Hero, is that there's a couple there that are actually live.
Yeah.
And I personally am not a fan of the live sort of performances. They kind of the live performances are great when you're at a concert, but when you go to select, for instance, in the new Guitar Hero, there's Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me is one of the tracks, but it's live and it's very different to the recording.
Oh, okay.
So when I went to
the one we're all familiar with.
Yeah. So anybody, I think above the age of 25, hopefully should be. So when I went to start it up, I was really excited because I knew how the song started. It has a really great epic intro, and it kind of just sort of peters in, and it's a bit of a letdown. And
See, the good thing about playing Def Leppard songs is that they're easy to drum.
They're quite easy parts.
Because
he has one arm.
The drummer has one arm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Because
you just looked at me like I was a fuckwit, and there were two possibilities. One, you didn't get the joke, and the other was that
I am over 20. I am over 25, and I know fuck all about Def Leppard.
You don't know Def Leppard?
No,
really?
I know him. Do you know
I know him. By the way, which one's Pink? Yeah, I get it.
Well, I've heard the songs on Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that's
didn't he do Carry On My Wayward Son? No.
Okay.
Def Leppard. What songs does Def Leppard do?
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yep.
What else?
Rocket, that was a big one. Then they had a bit
What's
of a resurgence in the 80s that was Two Steps Behind. That was their little power ballad.
What's one I'd know?
The main album that you know would be Hysteria.
Yeah, Hysteria.
That was the big
song.
Sort of.
Give me a Def Leppard song.
Rocket. That if you don't know
Rocket's probably their biggest.
Rocket was their biggest hit.
How's it go?
Rocket, Satellite of Love. I'm not going to sing it because it involves a lot of screaming and giant hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, shit. Sorry, guys.
I'm
glad you guys are picking up the slack here.
They actually, Def Leppard, they're from the UK, and pretty much the only countries that they had success in was the UK and Australia.
Yeah.
They bombed in the US big time because they're very kind of, like, a lot of their songs are lighthearted. Like, Rocket is a very big tongue-in-cheek kind of song.
Right.
Yeah.
Like about sort of being famous and
it's
and
really
all that.
overdone.
And it's really overdone, but the Americans didn't quite get it.
No, there's that whole Americans don't usually get the sarcasm side of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But none of this was about fucking Def Leppard.
No,
anyway,
we're supposed to be talking about Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. I just wanted to bring up Jimi Hendrix because I remember.
Yeah.
You play a bit of guitar, don't you, Sarge?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you did.
I play Guitar Hero.
Right. That's
I played guitar for 2 years. I learned how to play the guitar.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't learn how to play the guitar. I learned how to play the guitar for 2 years, but that doesn't mean I actually learned.
Someone tried to teach you.
They tried to teach me for 2 years,
and then they gave up.
Right.
Do you know? I actually learned the guitar for 2 years. I learned the piano for 5 years, the saxophone for 2 years, the drums for a year.
Yeah.
And
this is so far adding up to your age. Was this all concurrent?
This is all when I was in like primary school, high school,
right.
And it got to like grade 11, where eventually I just went, fuck it, I really can't play any instruments.
Yeah.
I've done this my entire life now. This has been fantastic. All I can do now is like play. I can do piano is not too bad, but only certain songs.
Yeah.
I can play Fur Elise. I can do Fur Elise and In the Hall of the Gnome King's Mountain. And
in the Hall of the Mountain King.
Mountain King.
Yeah.
Mountain King.
Yeah. The reason I asked that is because I don't know if you know that there's a thing called Power Tab. And it basically, I don't know if you know what guitar tab is, but Power Tab basically is tab that you can see, but it's also got MIDI support behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, it's just good for kind of getting it, like hearing what something's supposed to sound like, as opposed to seeing it written as tab is often much more clear. But I remember downloading some Jimi Hendrix Power Tab. I'm listening to something try to do Jimi Hendrix's signature style in MIDI. I highly recommend. I think it was Little Bird or something.
Little Wing.
Little Wing. It was
Little Wing.
Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing in Power Tab. Anyone who has the Power Tab program, download it immediately, and you will laugh yourself stupid. You can't do that in MIDI. It's not.
No.
It's not right.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on, actually no, there was one more Rock Band thing. You actually were...
for Rock Band 3 when it comes out at the end of the month.
Comes out, yeah, end of October. I think 21st of October, yeah.
They've already announced their first lot of DLC, which is going to be John Bon Jovi's Greatest Hits album.
Yeah!
Sorry, John Bon Jovi's or Bon Jovi?
Oh, Bon Jovi, sorry.
Right.
Bon Jovi's.
Because I just wondered if that might maybe had some of his solo work in it as well. I don't know if he's got any, I just was
he has some, but they're kind of a bit rubbish.
Right. As opposed to Bon Jovi.
As opposed to Bon Jovi, which is like just rock gold.
Yeah.
Mainly, I'm just going to buy it on day one as soon as it comes out, just so I can play Always.
Yeah.
The greatest Bon Jovi song ever.
Yeah.
And it's all... Yeah, no. Okay. I can... Pen and paper, I can prove it with scientific fact.
No, Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive for the metaphor, the overuse of metaphor, riding on a metal horse with a loaded 6-string on my back. All that, man. How can you go past that?
Yeah, that is pretty epic.
Yeah.
Well, no, it is, but it's already been out though. So we've had there's the build up because Always is always my favourite song. Always was my favourite song.
Nice.
But it's their like signature like power ballad.
It is.
And I know at least Joby will also enjoy playing.
Of course he will. Christ.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite looking forward to Rock Band 3 coming out because of the new instruments and stuff.
Piano, keyboard.
Yeah,
thing.
And the different guitar. As someone who does play the guitar, I'm really interested to see where they go next.
Yeah, because the pro guitar that they've got coming out.
Yeah,
for it, and
it's got strings. It's got 6 strings.
Because even with the piano, I've seen gameplay footage of someone actually using it.
Yeah.
But I still struggle to like work out how it actually is going to work in the game. It seems to be a little,
you know what I mean,
stunted.
Piano actually makes more sense to me than guitar. I mean, it was like when the drums came out for Rock Band. It was like, I get Guitar Hero World Tour. It was like, this makes sense. Because it's very much like
drums are a rhythm game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And piano or keyboard sort of thing. It makes sense. I actually haven't seen it.
What makes sense to me, like I get how you would press the buttons and so on. What I'm interested in is how they display that on screen. Apart from having a really fucking wide fretboard.
Well, the fretboard is still the same, but as well, like the keyboard is, I think it's only like 2 octaves.
Worth of really notes. Short.
But there's a switch. So. There's a switch at the side, so you've got to switch octaves, and that gives you like on-screen prompts.
That sounds very DJ Hero-ish, I think.
Yeah, it is a little bit DJ Hero-ish.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm but what I like about it is that for once, Rock Band and Guitar Hero are going off on their own thing. They're becoming more
rather
different.
than one copying the other.
Yeah, so Rock Band is going, you know what? We're going to add piano. We're going to make the guitar. We're going to add the pro guitar and make it more complicated. So for people who actually can play guitar, we'll get more of an enjoyment out of it.
And also that you actually apparently are learning.
Yeah. Because everyone sort of... There's been all those sort of stories of people going, wow, I never played guitar before. I really got into playing Rock Band. That prompted me to take guitar lessons again. Whereas the Guitar Hero side of things, they seem to kind of lose their way a bit. They did the band hero thing and they tried to... They had the Taylor Swift. They had her doing her stuff. And
Lego Rock Band.
And that's Rock Band, not Guitar Hero.
Well, sorry, I was just fucking up your argument there.
Thank you. So now with Rock Band, the guitar. No, you have fucked me up. With Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, they've kind of remembered. Holy shit, we actually do rock songs.
Yeah.
And they are more like all of the songs on the new game are more guitar driven. So they're finding their own focus as well, which is so I kind of like what they're both doing.
Can I ask a really stupid question that I probably could just Wikipedia or Google?
Judging by history, I'll say yes.
Thank you. Fuck you. Has there been any Roxette in either of them? Because for some reason, Roxette is following me around at the moment. And I realized I was listening to Look Sharp the other day, and I'm like, this would be awesome and like Dressed for Success and stuff like that. That would be great in a Guitar Hero.
I don't think it has. I know it's on SingStar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. And the Lips, which is a bit...
SingStar Lite.
Yeah, SingStar Lite.
I said light, as in it's a shit
Oh,
version.
yeah, it is a pretty shit
See, I
version.
actually thought a lot of those 80s songs actually don't lend themselves as well to the instruments. There's a lot of more traditional rock songs and things like that.
Yeah, because they've got more synth.
That's why Rock Band 3.
Yeah,
do the synth.
Because there are all those tracks that that come out and they have like all the piano bits, but you're forced to play them on guitar.
Yeah.
And I kind of resent that because
I do too.
I just feel like this you're taking away the genuineness of actually...
Well, I found the same with playing White Stripes song on the bass. White Stripes songs on the bass.
Yeah.
You're like, this is a band famous for not having a fucking bass. Why would you pick this band to put in something that
White
had been
Stripes on
played?
the bass?
The other way around. They don't have a guitar.
Yeah.
No.
That
That is a normal guitar that's dropped down an octave with a specific filter.
Whatever.
It is. They're famous for it. And by the way, that whole that bit, that is clearly not done on a fucking bass.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
No, that is. Oh
You're
my
making me
god!
doubt it, but I'm gonna
Everyone
fucking power
out
through
there
this.
who knows the White Stripes knows that I'm right, and thinks you guys are losing credibility fast.
Well, I never had any credibility to begin with, so Sarge,
Let's
you're
move
your
on.
own.
We've done a whole bunch of. Let's talk about Mario.
Mario compilation.
Mario.
There's a obviously this is the 25th anniversary of Mario, and to celebrate, Nintendo are releasing a Super Mario Brothers collection.
Isn't
edition
it
thing.
Super Mario Brothers All Stars? Is that what it is?
You know what? Fuck it. It kind of is.
Yeah. Super Mario Brothers All Stars.
Super Mario
for the
Brothers
Wii.
All Stars 25th anniversary edition. So it's got Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels.
Yep.
Yeah, shit.
That sounds like All Stars.
Essentially, are they upgrading it at all? Or
No,
are just
they
gonna
say that
ship
they're
the whole thing
including
out?
like a CD containing songs from the entire Super Mario series and a booklet chronicling the history of the franchise. Actually, you know what? On reflection now, I was kind of excited about this just because I like that old school Mario stuff, but there's actually nothing new here at all. So, wow, okay.
What?
Great.
I don't know the Wii, Matt. Maybe you can help me out here. What Super Mario Brothers games are
All of them.
available on Virtual Console?
All of them.
So
Yes.
this
Yes.
is just
Yes.
a repackaged.
Yes. Shh.
But okay.
I don't know if you can get the Lost Levels on the Wii.
No, they got lost.
Ah.
I don't know either.
You have to look really hard for them.
Yeah.
But well, actually, you know what? I want to move on. Yeah.
No, I want to
Nothing
say
really-
something really quick, which is that they're also bringing out a red Wii, which is kind of interesting. Normally, that's something you'd see a doctor for, but Talia actually loves red stuff, so I think that would be a really cool thing
Plus,
to get her.
Plus, it makes the graphics go faster. So
Yeah, they
that's
are
always really
faster.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you'd be up to like a quarter of a PS3, which is impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Or a 360. Like I wasn't PS3 fanboyish. That was just bashing.
No, it's just
Nintendo.
the PS3 has a motion controller.
Let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
Seeing
Let's
as we segued
segue.
anyway.
All right. Move. More of the move.
Yeah, we got sent a Move package, and I've been playing it a little bit, and I just wanted to give my impressions of the Move, having played it a fair bit now.
Yep.
It's really good.
Cool.
Pity about the games.
Yeah.
That seems to be the sort of universal opinion, is that it's a bit like when the Wii came out initially, that it's good technology, it works pretty well. You know, this is looking back at the Wii. We kind of went, wow, that's amazing, we can wiggle shit. And then we got over being able to wiggle shit pretty quickly, and then went, wow, this is all sucky.
I disagree, because when the Wii came out, it came out with Wii Sports.
Yeah.
And to this day, Wii Sports still stands up as a solid title, which is actually a brilliant interpretation of how the software can best be used.
Yeah.
True.
Everything that was on Wii Sports, from the bowling to the boxing to the tennis especially, actually showcased, and golf, Jesus Christ, actually showcased the best that the Wii can actually is capable of. Whereas the sports compilation for the Move is really freaking hit and miss. And we've got it in the bar as well. And watching people actually try and use the Move in the bar in the same way that people actually try and use the Wii, it's very different, and a lot of it comes down to the software. Archery, for example, on the Move is fucking great. I love it. I think it's great. And it's really, how do you play? Well, you push it back like that, and you pull it out like that, and you let it go. It's straightforward and easy. The fighting game is bollocks.
Atrocious. It really is atrocious.
What's the fighting game that's on the Move?
It's basically like a gladiator. Well, no, it's not a fighting game. It's the sports championship game, the equivalent essentially to Wii Sports, has discus and archery and some of the others.
Is that the one that has the skiing?
Bocce.
Bocce.
What is that?
No, there's an armchair surfing one as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, yeah. So it's got those and a gladiator duel for some
it's
reason.
Like a third person gladiator. Well, I mean, it makes sense because like
No,
the
it fucking doesn't.
Wii Sports Resort actually had like a similar sort of thing, and it
No, it
They
had
had
boxing.
the-
It had boxing,
No,
which is
No,
Wii
Wii Sports Resorts. That had the sword fighting.
had the fencing, the sword fighting.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
Okay,
it actually
still
is
stupid.
It is a good way of. I like the idea, which is you
Yeah.
hold up your shield like this and you swing your sword, and it's accurate because that's what the move's supposed to be about. It's like accuracy. It actually does. It's 1-to-1. You
Yeah.
can do all this sort of thing, but
It doesn't work.
it just doesn't work very well. I don't know if it's. It feels like it's working okay, but the actual the game mechanic
just
itself
feels kind of like you're just flailing. It doesn't. It's not very satisfying. It's not very fun. But some of the other stuff is. We started to play bocce the other day, but we didn't really get very far into it because I started being left-handed and couldn't figure out how to stop me being left-handed.
Yeah, which was really frustrating because that sort of shows the the level of how like the game's put together. But something simple like being able to recalibrate it seemed near impossible.
Recalibrating was easy, but like all it did was recalibrate me to be more accurately left-handed. It didn't let me actually go back the step before.
Oh, right.
But regardless, I've played a few of the games that have come with it. Kung Fu Rider is just bizarre. You're familiar with that?
Oh, we've got it, but we haven't put it on yet. No.
It's basically just two people riding office furniture downhill.
Oh yeah.
And the concept is cool, but the implementation is atrocious.
I don't know what is there like a kung fu element at all? Because from what I've seen,
you can basically like stick your foot out and kick people on the way past. That's kung fu.
Trip racer.
That's kung fu.
Yeah, it's quite strange.
Actually, you know the one that does the best at the Mana Bar, funny enough, is Flight Control.
Really?
Flight Control. You can download it on the PlayStation Network. Has move support. And it's exactly like you use on the iPhone and stuff like that. You click your plane, you drag it to the actual thing. Works well because the move is very accurate.
Yeah,
it works really well. So.
There's a couple of things though. It's funny. The ones that are the most impressive for the move are the ones that are kind of the least known. Echochrome. Echochrome 2 is really clever. It's really, really innovative use of the whole concept of the move. The shoot demo is available. It's not available to actually buy yet. It's an interesting concept in that it's basically like a 3D shooting range that's being filmed to make a movie.
Right.
So they've kind of got the shoot. Oh, look, it's a double thing because it's a movie shoot.
And yeah, that's clever.
The problem is it's everything that comes out is kind of like 2D papercraft things, like some of the things in what's the Namco shooting game? Point Blank.
Yeah.
Like Point Blank, how you go through the things where you shoot and they explode. It's basically that. Why would you film that? Why would you not have actors falling over? I don't know. It's weird. And also the aim started just shifting to the left over time and drifted further and further to the point where it was unplayable after a while. I don't know whether that's a calibration issue or something else.
The only other thing that I particularly like about the move is there's another disc that we got. I think it was the demo disc or whatever, where it actually does show on screen you holding the move, using the camera capabilities, and the move controller is something else. It's a fucking
that's the start the party.
Yeah, and
that's actually quite fun.
It's fun because it just looks like fucking Roger Rabbit, as in the Toontown.
Yeah,
where you're actually holding the big cartoon thing. That works so well.
There's the calibration system for the move for start the party is to actually point the controller directly at the camera, and then press the button, and then when you do that, it puts this big foam hand on the thing, and then you see the foam hand on your thing, and it actually looks really good. But what I really liked about it, and what I thought was really impressive, is that when you shake that, the finger kind of waggles, the finger kind of vibrates, and the vibration from the actual move controller kicks in.
Oh, really?
So you actually feel it vibrate as well as seeing it, and for some reason that just works extremely well. The rest of the game is kind of adequate, but
I think the move, the technology is there. I just think it's going to be a little bit before.
There's two things
the
that really
interest
me. There's a couple of things that really interest me about it. One is I haven't actually played Resident Evil 5 on it, and apparently that's surprisingly good. Much like if you played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, apparently it's a very similar control system, which I didn't.
Okay. Have you played Resident Evil 5?
No, almost none of it, which is why I've thought about playing through it with the move.
I think it actually would work with the move, because I think like the problem normally would be the shooting mechanic.
Yeah, the control.
Because you can't actually run and shoot in the game at the same time, I think that would almost lend itself to reducing some of the problems that you would have with a move with trying to shoot and move around at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think it would actually be I think it would work kind of well.
The other thing that really interests me is Killzone 3 coming out will fully support it as a like first-person shooter interface kind of thing, and that could actually be really interesting. I've heard from people that have played it and say it works really well. There's a open beta for it coming up.
Is that also in 3D? Is it also in 3D as well? Killzone 3?
Yeah.
So it's in 3D.
Do you mean like third person?
No. In 3D.
Oh, in 3D. Oh, I see. Probably.
I heard something.
What do you mean it's in 3D?
Like if you've got a 3D TV.
Do you know what 3D is?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No. Well,
Christ,
the game is in 3D. So
yeah, but a lot of games are fucking in 3D.
No.
Most
of them
having the
these
3D
days
television,
we get that, but
you
you
had 3D television.
rich people.
Well, actually,
They're not listening to this podcast.
to be honest, I'd probably get one pretty soon. I've wanted to upgrade mine for a little while, and the 3D TVs are fucking cheap now.
What?
Yeah, they are.
I saw one for about less than $2,000. It was like 50-inch for $2,000.
To be honest, that's not $3,000 I would invest my money in.
I said.
I want to wait for when they can do 3D TVs with no glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's apparently some of them coming off, but I think they're way up. I think the whole 3D thing is still a bit of a gimmick, and I think that with the Move, it's still a bit of a gimmick as well. So yeah, I brought that back.
Yeah, I did. That was clever. Yeah, give it.
And I wish I hadn't highlighted that now.
There's also the Move
cool,
support for Heavy Rain.
Yeah, but see, Move support for Heavy Rain makes it an even less of a video game.
Yeah. I haven't actually personally played it yet. I am pretty keen to see what it's like.
Yeah,
I like the idea that like having the Move actually support older games actually gives people an excuse to play games that they may have missed, like Resident Evil 5 or Heavy Rain. It's like,
Resident Evil 5,
they've got
you've actually got to, as far as I know, you've got to buy the gold version.
Well, I wondered the same about Resident Evil 5, and then found that the 360 one is the one I have. I wasn't sure whether I had the PS3 or 360, but the concept of being able to just upgrade your game to support the Move, I think is really cool. But to have to buy it again is balls. No one's going to do that.
So let's race through a couple of other topics because we're starting to run out of time. NBA Jam Elite.
Yeah, tell us. Tell us, Sarge. Tell us about that. Sarge, give us the
Can
info.
you actually tell us all about it?
Come on, Sarge.
You know all about it. Come on.
Go, Sarge.
Hit us.
I don't know anything about this stuff. No. So that was worth that to see the shock look on your face then. So NBA Elite is meant to be coming out. Was meant to be coming out this week. It was slated to come out the day after the 2K11 game, but it was delayed a few weeks ago. Peter Molyneux wrote a blog entry about it, and it was kind of interesting in that there was no sign of when the game was actually going to be released. So normally, like when there's a delay,
they say
we're aiming
January
for a Q1 release, but there's been nothing about that, and there's been quite a few like blogs and other websites that have sort of speculated that it will never actually come out. And what's sort of most interesting about that is the fact that EA haven't really defended that at all. They've not come out to try and correct it. So I'm kind of a bit curious about whether or not they'll actually see the light of day.
Yeah.
So what they're actually doing now is more of a compensation, is that for the 360 and the PS3 version of Elite, it was going to come with a downloadable code for NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Which was originally going to be a shortened version compared to what was on the Wii. So you weren't going to get what was the remix tour mode, which apparently was going to, which is about an extra 20 hours worth of gameplay for the Wii. But what they've now turned around and said, we're going to try and release, or we are going to release the full NBA Jam experience, including the remix tour, for both the 360 and the PS3. Whether that's going to be XBLA sort of PSN release, or whether they'll just do a complete full retail disc.
Here's a random question that you might be able to answer for me. Why the fuck would I care?
NBA Jam, man.
NBA Jam, well,
did you never play that back in the day?
No.
NBA Jam was fucking awesome.
That was like one of the massive arcade classics.
NBA Jam is one of those sports games that people that don't like sports games play.
And people that don't like video games play.
Seriously, it was
because when it came out in the arcade, it was.
Don't look at me like that, you four-eyed freak. All right, this is this was a game that actually got me into sports games. I don't like sports games.
Whatever. So the point is, it's good, and I should like it.
The other reason why people would care is because with these sort of sports games, they attract the sort of crowds that buy sports games and nothing else.
Yeah.
So they're the people that they'll buy NBA Live or NBA 2K.
So I should care about this because fuckwits care about this.
Hey, fuck it. The other reason is NBA Jam originally was fun. It was actually over the top fun. That was the one where it had the guys like flying through the air and hitting a boom shakalaka, like sort of like it was over the top
and fire and all that.
Yeah, but see,
he's on fire.
And that's the other concern that will never come out because NBA Jam was a big push for NBA Elite.
Yeah.
So now that I mean, for me, that was one of the reasons why I was going to buy NBA Elite.
NBA Elite is the more serious side, isn't it?
That's the more sports simulation.
That's the actual NBA
Yeah, that's more of a sports
that's from
simulation
EA,
style.
so I'd imagine that's the competitor. They're trying to compete with like your NBA 2K.
So
Yeah,
which
2K.
which game of NBA Jam and NBA Elite was going to have Barack Obama?
Elite was going to come with NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
You couldn't play NBA Jam unless you bought Elite.
Right. But now
you can just play NBA Jam.
will that have Barack Obama? Because I want to fucking play as Barack Obama.
You can play as
I'm
Obama.
less and less interested in NBA Elite. Yeah.
I kind of am because it's just I played the demo, and it was, apart from the fact it was buggy as hell, it was underwhelming. I was quite disappointed, and I'm normally on the whole, because there's a big kind of rivalry between the NBA Live and the 2K sort of franchises, and I was generally on the EA side of it, but now I've seen what 2K11 is going to do, and it looks pretty fucking great.
Okay.
So I'm happy to get that and just forget about Elite.
Yeah, basketball, sports games. Let's move on.
Okay. Medal of Honor.
That's all we've got.
That was dramatic.
That was very manly.
Kind of stuff. Actually played a lot of Medal of Honor. We had an event at the bar a couple of weeks ago where EA actually had 24 PlayStation 3s, and we actually networked it up. And actually had this massive multiplayer thing. And
I played it for a bit.
It looks good. Like I didn't know much about it, mainly because I didn't have that much interest in Medal of Honor, the new reboot, just because I'm kind of against reboots in general these days.
Well, I'm kind of against anything that's something of something, honestly. Yeah. Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, whatever. I used to play them, but I just got less and less into them.
Well, the other thing is I've spent so much time focusing on like your Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops and stuff like that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a serious huge player of those particular games, but Modern Warfare 2 lost me a bit because it seems to be a little bit overly James Bond. Black Ops even more so. Now they've got remote control cars that you can drive around.
Yeah, they do.
Like it's over the top Modern Warfare, as in like really modern. Yeah. Whereas Medal of Honor, it seemed to hark back to a more realistic sort of environment and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
definitely.
You know what lost me? When I started seeing footage of them and couldn't tell what fucking game I was watching anymore, because they all look the same. Because they're all bunch of fucking fighters fighting through a desert environment in urban warfare.
Secret government ops.
They just all look the same.
You're a fucking war game racist, is what you are. Okay.
Yes, they all look the same. Yes.
But you're right. Modern Warfare 2 kind of, I didn't enjoy it as much. It kind of lost, especially for the multiplayer, because it wasn't so much about the gameplay. It was about what specs you had.
Yeah.
So you get all these like perks and stuff, and the perks was what won the game.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I don't know, it spoiled me because I just prefer.
I'm not against Modern
Here's a gun. There's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Go shoot him.
I'm not against Modern Warfare 2 at all, or Black Ops. I do think they look fantastic. They've just gone in a different direction, and it's kind of been nice to actually play Medal of Honor and go, actually, I'm looking forward to this one a little bit more. Actually.
Can I bring something up?
What?
This is not our topic.
No.
This is actually totally not our topic.
Yeah, sorry.
There's
topic.
Those two words at the end of that sentence.
The topic is, well, they were supposed to have the Taliban.
Yeah, the original multiplayer concept was to have the Taliban as the enemy because, that was the setting was Afghanistan. And once that was announced, my God, did a storm of shit brew.
Yeah. So they've actually, EA have actually now taken out any references to the Taliban in Medal of Honor. There was there was a statement that was issued by the executive producer, Greg Goodridge. He basically said, because the heartbeat of Medal of Honor has always resided in the reverence for American and Allied soldiers, we've decided to rename the opposing team in Medal of Honor multiplayer from Taliban to Opposing Force.
Yeah. I didn't really understand that because it was never the name that was the issue. I mean, for a start, the issue is fucking bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
The enemy troops in Afghanistan are the Taliban. That's what they are. That's just what they are. And the problem was always, for a start, massively overstated by, I think it was the General Secretary of the UK who said that, they didn't want people to take the side and take the story of the Taliban and use that to kill British troops. The problem with that is twofold. One, you didn't take the side of the story. It was simply a cops and robbers. It was one team and the other team. And secondly, there were no British troops. There are not British troops in the game anyway.
It's as fucking retarded as like when in games that are set in World War One and Two or World War Two. I mean, you play against the Nazis.
Yeah.
And then you play as the Nazis against the other. What should we actually take references to the Nazis out?
Well, in Germany they do. And in fact, if you played Lego Indiana Jones, they were all enemy. They weren't Nazis. They weren't referenced as
really?
Nazis at all.
Wow.
Probably so they didn't have to rebrand them for Germany.
But that's like one sort of like country.
That's an unusual
But
thing.
yeah, and there's like a bit of an understanding. But like every other game, like you fight the Russians or you're fighting against the North Koreans, and no one's really said anything. But
well, one word, no, 2 words.
No,
I mean,
No, too soon.
Yeah.
It's too soon. The fight's still going on.
Yeah, true.
Do you reckon, like when it gets released in Afghanistan, they have to take the American soldiers?
Yeah,
yeah.
Opposing forces.
Oh, yeah, call them Taliban versus opposing forces because it's just,
and
too soon for them.
It's close to their hearts.
Did you hear Jimmy Carr recently had to make an apology for a statement that he made about Afghanistan?
What did he say?
He said, "Say what you like about the Afghanistan war. In a couple of years, we're going to have a great Paralympic team." And he actually had to withdraw. I watched a video online where people were talking about it, and someone was basically talking about him, using this to get a laugh and how disgraceful it was. And I'm like, isn't that his job?
Hell yeah, that's
isn't
what he
using
does.
inappropriate, totally unacceptable humour to get a laugh totally his job?
Especially Jimmy Carr. Like, have you not heard him before?
Yeah, you're not familiar with him.
That's his MO.
The other thing is, all these people that are getting offended and find all this sort of stuff offensive. You know what? I'd like to know, are the troops that are in Afghanistan, do you think they've got an issue with this?
Well, they actually had a call-in show, this video I was watching, where they basically, someone called in and she was a soldier and she was a soldier's wife. And she said their sense of humour is very dark and they probably found it hysterically funny. And Jimmy Carr's actually done a lot of touring of British hospitals that treat these men, and he, it's almost certain that he actually stole the joke from them, not...
Yeah, true.
Not mocking them.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's not relevant. I guess any opportunity to bring up an awful joke like that, I think, should be taken.
Anyway, I look forward to playing the game and taking down the opposing force. It's fucking vague.
It's such a stupid name. Couldn't they have called them? Even insurgents would have been better.
Could they
they've
just change
terrorists?
Call them terrorists. Call them terrorists. Baddies. They basically call them the bad guys.
Yeah. Change a couple of letters. Instead of the Taliban, call them the Taliban. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taliban.
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 Talibans.
Yeah, it's Taliban.
Talibans.
Shoot him in the Talibans.
That's brilliant.
I think we're pretty much out of time. We're out of topics. We've got a list and we're at the end of
There's
it.
one more topic that I particularly want to bring up.
Oh, this stupid thing, yeah.
Yeah, particularly close to my heart because, frankly, I don't do enough Manabar promotion for Australian Gamer. I really don't.
No, you don't at all.
I really should, It's like...
Whatever, just do it and shut up.
Alright, well, there's some cool stuff happening at the Manabar in the upcoming week, so I just want people to know about it because you should come to it this Wednesday. We've got the new God of War Ghosts of Sparta game on the PSP being showcased at the bar. The developers themselves are actually flying over to show it, which should be very cool. This Saturday, we have for the first and only time in Australia, and for the third time playable to the public in the world. What?
It will be playable in future. You said first and only time
First and only time playable in Australia this year.
Okay, that.
Sorry, okay. And the third time playable to the public in the world, Duke Nukem Forever. For 12 hours from midday till midnight, Randy Pitchford, the president of Gearbox Software, will be there to actually present it and talk about it. So it's very fucking exciting. And the weekend after, although I can't be overly specific, because we're still finalising stuff, we will have Square Enix flying over to the Manabar to showcase playable Deus Ex 3.
Very exciting stuff.
I know.
Sorry, that was actually like a really underwhelmed response from me, but no, this is very exciting stuff, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's fucking awesome. None of this stuff would be happening in Brisbane at all if it wasn't for the Manabar.
So everyone who's in Brisbane, you got some awesome shit to come and catch up with. A lot of people who listen to this will probably be in Brisbane, and a lot will be there anyway.
Good on you. Except for
yeah.
Sarge, who's going back to Melbourne.
I picked the worst weekend to come up.
Yeah,
the weather's been shit.
The weather's been shit. It's actually been a really quite like an eventless weekend at the Manor Bar.
It's because I lost my laptop. My laptop died. Sorry, man. It's my fault.
And I'm come up the weekend before Duke Nukem.
It was good French food though. French desserts.
There was
we had an evening of French
prime.
Desserts.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you to Talia for the French desserts.
Yeah.
I had my first ever macaroon.
Yeah.
Was it macaroon-tastic?
It was fucking delicious-tastic.
That's a brilliant phrase you've made up there. Well, I think we're going to go. I think we're going to say thank you to everyone.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys too for having me.
Oh yes, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
You're welcome. Yes. It's been a pleasure and a joy for you.
It's been great. I'm going to head back to the Manor Bar, I think, and
so am I.
have some more
I'm
cocktails.
going to as well.
And
play
some more Rascals.
Fucking A.
Yeah, Rascals has been
so
pretty
addictive.
thoroughly going off at the bar for some time now.
Yes,
It's
Rascals
quite
will be, and you know what? It's still we still don't have a release date for it.
No.
Rascals will probably be playable at Manor Bar in Melbourne when it opens, and it still won't be out. So,
So do we know if it's even this year?
what? Rascals?
Rascals.
No, we don't
Alright.
know if it's this year.
Well, that's an
Fly to
exciting.
Brisbane and play it.
Yeah.
Fly to Brisbane and play it.
That's what I did.
Just for that.
Just for
for
Rascals.
us.
Next weekend in particular, because it'll be good.
Yeah. No one will be playing Rascals
Yeah.
next weekend. So come
Oh
up
shit! Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. Talk to you soon.
See you later.
Bye.